Mangwanani mwalelepo Fukenjani Klekwas Dumela Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show that remains your portal into Africa's potent stories. These are some of the stories we will be looking at from the continent. FIFA World Cup 2026 commences in Mexico, with South Africa facing Mexico in the grand opener. Nigeria repatriates citizens amid rising anti-migrant sentiment. Standard Bank throws weight behind Dangote Refinery listing. Major mineral discovery strengthens Namibia's strategic position. And Mike Sichula delivers a special report on the atmosphere in Zambia heading to the 13 August Zambia general election. And of course, in Namibia, archives celebrated as guardians of national memory. This is Africa Good Morning on DSTV285 GOTV 25 Network Media Hub and NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA, and you are in the right place. Top stories shortly.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative sport tourism.
All right, the FIFA World Cup officially commenced in Mexico yesterday at the Azteca Stadium, and Mexico launched their campaign with a 2-0 victory over South Africa in the opening match at the Estadio in Mexico City. Now, Julian Quinones gave the hosts an early advantage in the 9th minute after capitalizing on poor control from South Africa defender Spephelo Stole. Now, the forward calmly beat goalkeeper Ronwen Williams before celebrating with teammates and substitutes. South Africa's problems deepened shortly after half-time when Sithole was shown a red card for a professional foul on Brian Gutierrez. Now, Mexico eventually converted their numerical advantage into a second goal midway through the second half. Roberto Alvarado advanced down the right flank and delivered a cross that Raúl Jiménez met with a header to double the lead. South Africa's discipline deteriorated further when Themba Zwane received a straight red card for elbowing Alvarado with 10 minutes remaining. Mexico also finished with 10 men after Cesar Montes was sent off in stoppage time for a challenge on Kuliso Mudau. Before kickoff, Shakira and Burna Boy performed the tournament's official song, while celebrations of Mexican culture accompanied the opening ceremony. Now back to African current affairs. Nigeria has joined Ghana, Malawi in repatriating some of its citizens from South Africa following growing anti-migrant sentiment. A flight carrying 268 Nigerians landed in Lagos after departing Johannesburg, with the Nigerian consulate saying around 1,000 people had registered for repatriation. The developments come ahead of a 30 June deadline set by some campaigners for undocumented migrants to leave South Africa. Many migrants moved to the country after the end of white minority rule in 1994, seeking better opportunities. However, unemployment exceeding 30% has fueled anti-migrant sentiment, protest marches and xenophobic attacks. A Nigerian passenger identified as Justin told the BBC He had lived in South Africa since 1998, but no longer felt safe, citing attacks, threats, and insults directed at migrants. Nigerian Consul General Ninikanwa Oche rejected suggestions that migrants were responsible for failures in education, healthcare, policing, and employment, arguing they were being scapegoated. She also called for stronger action against individuals promoting xenophobic attacks. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced measures targeting illegal migration, including dedicated courts, biometric systems, and penalties for employers hiring undocumented workers. Now, Africa's largest lender, Standard Bank Group, has pledged support for the planned public listing of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, strengthening confidence in what could become one of the continent's most significant corporate transactions. The endorsement came during a visit by Standard Bank Group Chief Executive Officer Sim Shabalala and senior executives to the refinery and fertilizer complex in Lagos. Shabalala described the Dangote Group as a major force on the African continent and confirmed that Standard Bank intends to play a leading role in the refinery's planned initial public offering. He also indicated that the bank stands ready to provide financial advisory services and balance sheet support as the group expands. The announcement coincided with a major operational milestone at the refinery. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer David Bird revealed that performance tests recently achieved production of 700,000 barrels per day, exceeding the official design capacity of 650,000 barrels per day. The refinery has already become a significant exporter of petrol, diesel, and jet fuel across Africa and beyond. Management has also outlined plans to expand capacity to 1.4 million barrels per day in the coming years. Now, new exploration results from Namibia's Uwis project in the Erongo region have revealed extensive mineralization at the K9 pegmatite target, reinforcing the project's importance within the country's critical mineral sector. Askari Metals Limited reported that trenching across the area identified significant concentrations of tin, lithium, tantalum, rubidium, and caesium along a strike extending close to 1 kilometer. Results included up to 4,050 parts per million of tin, 0.29% lithium oxide, 215 parts per million of tantalum, and 2,380 parts per million of rubidium, and 479 parts per million of caesium. Executive Director Gino Dana described K9 as a standout polymetallic discovery and said the findings had strengthened confidence in the scale and continuity of mineralization. The project is situated within Namibia's Cape Cross Uwis pegmatite belt, a geological region recognized for major hard rock, tin, lithium, and tantalum deposits. The Uwis project also benefits from proximity to infrastructure, including Walvis Bay and the active Uwis tin mine. Exploration teams believe the results point to a continuous mineralized corridor that could attract strong investor interest as demand for critical minerals continues to grow globally. And now, as we look ahead towards Zambia's general election on the 13th of August, Africa Good Morning correspondent Mike Sichula joins us from Lusaka to give us an update on the atmosphere in the real Africa.
Well, thank you very much. So the political mood in Zambia is somewhat calm and peaceful, with a few pockets of acts of violence which have been recorded. I cite an example of one incident that happened in Chawama when leading opposition figures Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zuru had gone to Chawama to observe the first anniversary of the death of late President Edgar Lungu. After they finished their church gathering, as they were heading back, they were met with opposing political cadres, and there was some act of political violence as well as vandalism to private property. However, police managed to apprehend about 5 to 6 cadres who were found to be in a confrontational mood. But the environment politically is not that hyped up as compared to the past elections in 2011 as well as 2021, when there were a lot of political activities. This has been attributed to many factors. Others are saying it is due to lack of money. Political parties do not have enough money to dish out to their members and also conduct their election activities, such as putting of posters, flyers, billboards, and the like, having these community meetings, political rallies. We are not seeing that much as compared to the past elections. This has been attributed to a number of reasons, like I've said, lack of money, as well as political parties. Some of them are saying this is also could be attributed to the death of Paramount Chief Mpezeni IV, who will be buried tomorrow in Eastern Province. So thereafter, a number of people are hoping that the political activities are going to be hyped up, considering that it will be within 60 days before the 13th of August when Zambians are going to the polls. However, on the other front, President Hakainde Hichilema has continued to be endorsed by other opposition political party figures. One of them who has endorsed President Hakainde Hichilema is a former Matero Member of Parliament, who is also to be a faction leader of the Opposition Patriotic Front. He has endorsed President Hakainde Hichilema. Others who have endorsed President Hakainde Hichilema are Pastor Peter Chanda of the NCP party, as well as Charles Chanda of the UPPZ party. They have endorsed President Hakainde Hichilema, and also Sevia Chishimba, and another political figure. He has also endorsed President Hakainde Hichilema that they are going to rally behind him as the country goes to the polls on 13th August 2026. However, the environment seems to be very, very calm. When you come to Zambia, you would not even know that Zambia will be going to the polls, as was the case in the past elections. But this is likely going to change as the days draw closer to the elections on 13th August 2026.
Many thanks for that comprehensive report on the atmosphere in Zambia ahead of the 13th August general elections. That concludes our top stories on Africa Good Morning. After the break, we're going to be looking at some of the potent news videos of the week stemming from the land of the brave, Namibia. Now getting into the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia. Speaking this week during the launch of the computerized learner's license testing method and book and pay system, Minister of Works and Transport Veko Nekundi has called for greater accountability among motorists.
We installed signs that the road condition is going to change. We are going to put up speed humps. Start driving 120 now, 60, 40, 30 before you reach the speed camera. Last night, somebody just, when the other one was allowing the speed of 30 kilometers to go over the speed, a car come from behind and hit this car from behind. Now he's blaming the Ministry of Roads and Transport. Something must be wrong. So these are the people I think we must retest, Commissioner. I think these are the people that we must retest. So, and we are moving there. So anybody whom we catch misdriving, we are going to retest you in a stricter way, including sending you to somebody to test your mind, whether you are really fit. Psychometric test, I think those tests, psychology and everything, to test whether you are ready.
Also this week, the Road Fund Administration launched an RFA mobile application together with a portal dedicated to fuel levy refunds and cross-border charges.
What we value the most as RFA from you as our stakeholders, as customers, is your insights, your feedback, which helps us a lot for that matter. And that helped us to arrive here where we are this morning. So, in essence, for us, today's launch is a direct response to the evolving needs of our stakeholders. The introduction of the portals and the revamped website, which will be shared with you this morning, for us as RFA, demonstrates our commitment to listening, to adapting, and delivering solutions that make interactions with the RFA simpler, faster, and more efficient, if I borrow from Rochelle.
Now, Namibia's first gentleman, retired Lieutenant General Epaphras Dengandaitwa, has expressed concern about the academic performance of boys, and he stated his concerns during an engagement with boys and fathers in Rundu, Namibia.
That our boys, they are not doing well at school. Not doing well in terms of percentage, how much percentage you got, doing well because we are always in most cases lagging behind in terms of percentage, overall percentage. The outcome, the best outcome sometimes is at our institution of higher learning, institutions of higher learning, universities. NAST this year graduated 60% of our girls. Make your own mathematical, simple mathematical calculation. That leaves us with how much? Or how many percentage? 40. 60 against 40. And the same graduation, 13 doctors graduated. 10 has gone away with our girls. Only 3 belongs to us. 3 doctors. 10 has gone to our wives, in any case. But if now you can again now imagine.
Now, staying with education, Kavango East Education Director Christine Shilima has identified low pre-primary school attendance as a major factor behind the region's high grade 1 repetition rate.
At Divundu, I did share that we are challenged by the repetition rate. I have to share with you today that what is causing the increase in our grade 1 repetition rate According to the review report for last year, only 40% of our grade 1 learners attended pre-primary. 60% it means they started grade 1 and they did not attend pre-primary. This is a challenge. A grade 1 teacher now, for the first term, has to make sure that every learner in that class knows how to handle a pencil, knows how to socialize with strangers, fellow learners in a class. This is a challenge why we are still struggling to reduce repetition rate in grade 1. Digitalization is what is needed in our schools. I do not want to go far. Just here in Rundu, Joy Mungungu wrote a letter to us. We want our school to be connected. I asked the IT, Mishanika, ensure that the school is connected. She responded, Madam, it can't.
The importance of archives in preserving identity, history and collective memory was highlighted this week during the opening ceremony of the International Archives Week conference at the University of Namibia main campus. Acting Director of the Namibia Library and Archives Service, Namutenya Hamwalwa, delivered the keynote address on behalf of Executive Director Mbumba Erastus Hai Tengela of the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Arts and Culture. Hamwalwa said the gathering was about more than collections of documents, photographs, recordings and records. She explained that archives safeguard the stories, identities, achievements, struggles, and aspirations of communities and nations for both present and future generations. And just before we play that video of her keynote address, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye on DSTV285 GOTV 25, 1up2.com, Network Media Hub, and NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA. We return on Monday with the Zambia report and, as always, the potent stories from across the African continent. Swereja Kanaka.
The International Archives Week has been celebrated from the 8th to 12th June. It's a global celebration that recognizes the vital role archives play in preserving our collective memory, promoting accountability, supporting research, and strengthening societies. Today, we gather not just to celebrate collections of documents, photographs, records, and recordings. We are here to celebrate the stories, identities, achievements, struggles, and aspirations of people and communities that archives safeguard for present and future generations. Because of the work we do as information practitioners, the Namibian people are honoring famous leaders in the history of Namibia. The likes of Andrew Bedboy, Chief Hosea Kutako, Chief Samuel Maharero, King Mantumeande Mfayo, and Chief Gao Justus Gabriel. If it wasn't for the archives and the information officers, some of the fallen heroes would have been forgotten today. Some of the disputes on land ownership would have not been solved, and some of the architectural designs would have been lost forever. You can agree with me that archives are indeed the memory of the nations. They preserve evidence of who we are, where we have come from, and how we evolved over time. And in addition, archives preserve evidence of government actions. They document the experiences of communities and safeguard the historical records for the future generations.